In this tutorial, we'll cover the basics of the access control system. You will need to go to the BioStar login. The shortcut has been saved on the desktop of your computer. Type in your username and password and click Login. When you log in, you will be directed towards the dashboard. The dashboard will give you any alerts pertaining to the system, offline devices, and information such as that. Your user tab is where you will add users, cards, and that sort of information. Your device tab will bring up the status of each one of the devices. All of your devices should show as normal with no alerts on them. Your door menu will give you options for all of your doors, configuration options. All of these doors have been pre-configured for you, so you will not need to change these unless you wish to change the auto unlock time, the door open duration, things of that nature. This property does not use the elevator control, so we will go ahead and skip that section. Zones. This is where you'll create schedule unlock and schedule lock zones for your front door, your parking gates, things of that nature. We'll get into that a little bit deeper as we dive into that section. Access control is where you're going to set up access control times, such as resident, full access, delivery people, things of that nature. The monitoring log is where you can pull reports for activity in the property, such as who entered the fitness center at a certain time, any authentication errors that you're seeing. You'll be able to pull that log directly from here. We'll get a little bit more into detail on this later on in the training. Your settings tab is going to, at the top left here, is going to be critical in that this is where you're going to set up schedules for auto opening times, any kind of cloud access. You won't need to touch any of that, but really the main thing here is your schedule. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and begin programming a user. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add a new user. In doing this, you will add the user's name. In this instance, we're just going to use training test. You are going to add a user ID. Typically, the user ID is what we will use the printed number on the back of the black parking key fob as the user ID. Email, telephone, all of that is up to you. Standard users will not need an operator level, as this is the operator level to log into the system. So residents won't need any of that information. So you can just go ahead and leave that as none. Any employees you want would be under administrator or user operator. You can go ahead and pick that access level. Your access group. Typically, most of your programming is going to be done in the resident access group. So you go ahead and select that information, and then you're going to click Add Card. So when you add a card, the card type for the swipe function on the property is going to be CSN. It's always going to be that way for the swipe function. You're always going to want to make sure that you register by card reader. The card reader that you're going to select is going to be the Program Reader 2. That is the guy that's going to read the card. So then what you'll do is you'll go ahead and click Read Card. Once you click Read Card, you will swipe the card at the reader located at the concierge desk. Once that has been done, a number here will be populated. Once that number populates, you'll go ahead and click Enroll. To add a parking fob, you are going to again press Add Card. This type of card is a little bit different. It's a different interface, so the card type is going to be a little bit different. It is going to be the Wiegand The card data format is always for the parking. For the transmitter button is going to be 26-bit standard. This warning here just lets you know that the current device doesn't have that capability. So go ahead and just go ahead and close that out. It doesn't matter. We'll just go ahead and change that reader. So to program the parking fobs, you're going to click Program Receiver. Now the process is always going to be the same here. You're going to except instead of swiping the card, you're going to hit the button on the remote. So what you'll do is you'll go ahead and click Read Card. You'll hit the button on the remote. Hit it once and then hit it again and hold it down. Once that number populates here, you're good to go. Go ahead and click Enroll. Once you've added all the information that you want, you can go ahead and click Apply. Once you click Apply, all of this information will automatically populate to all the readers. It'll typically take between 2 and 5 minutes to populate all of this information to each one of the readers. So now we're going to go ahead and explore a little bit further in the device menu. Again, all of these options have been changed for you. This is just a good troubleshooting tool for you to see if any readers are offline, anything of that nature. You're always going to want to see device status normal right here. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and just double click on one of the readers and kind of explore what all this does. Your time zone is always going to be Pacific. That's no big deal. None of these functions should ever be changed. The IP address should stay as it is. You don't need the DNS server. You're good to go there. Again, this is just really for, more for my use rather than, anything that you guys will change. You're not going to want to change anything here. So we'll go ahead and click out of that. Now what we're going to explore is the door menu. The door menu is going to give us functions such as changing the door open time. So when somebody presents a card, the door will stay open for a certain amount of time. You're going to want to, the door open time is right here. It's just a slider. Typically we set everything from 3 to 5 seconds. It's usually good enough at that point. Any longer you risk, people tailgating in, behind someone, and it creates kind of a safety issue. Your door relay, do not change this relay. Changing of this relay will cause the door not to function. All of the door relays should say relay 0 of secure IO, and that's what it should be. If it says anything different than that, go ahead and restart the computer, log back in. If it still says anything different, go ahead and just select that, and you can see right here where you would select that device. So there's no exit buttons or door sensors or exit devices on this property. So that's pretty much it for the door menu. We're going to go ahead and skip on now to the access control menu. This is where we can change residents, access times, and things of that nature. Basically, if we decide that we want to close the residents out of a certain area at a certain time, we can do that. So you'll see here that this is your user group, this is your access level. These are all the users that are associated with this access level. So it's a good tool just to see who is in, what area there. Again, here it just says resident access. The schedule is resident access times. So if we wanted to change that resident access time schedule, currently it's set on 24/7 for every area. So if we were to want to change that, what we could do is right now it's resident access time. So right now the amenity spaces are actually restricted from it looks like 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. So if you guys want to change that, you can just go ahead and edit the times, or you can delete the times, however you want to do that. And what that does is that automatically updates all the residents. No need to go and change, resident by resident. We've created the construction gate parking that opens it from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So if you wanted to add a schedule, you would just click Add Schedule. You'll want to name that schedule. And in your name, you're going to want to make it very apparent of what it is. So if it's, paper delivery, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m., you're going to want to name it that. So you don't have to click in and open everything to see what the times are. Just name it to where that way in the menu, you'll see exactly what it is, especially in the description here. So once you've done all that, created your schedule, then you can go back to your access group. You can add an access group by clicking here. What you would do is we'll do a training test. We'll say training test resident. So we'll add the access level. So we would go ahead and select there the resident access times. We don't need to add any floors in this instance because we're not doing the elevator control. So you can also in this section add a new access level if you want, just by clicking right here, the add access level. So we'll just go ahead and delete this guy just to get it out of there. Your user group, again, you're going to want to create the user group, whether it's a vendor or you can create a specialty one for dog walkers or maids or what have you. So, and then you can go ahead and add add the users that you want to add to this access group. Typically, the easiest way to maintain the access groups is to go ahead and assign them, at the user level, not at this level. So this is just really to create the access level. So we don't want to save this, so we're going to go ahead and cancel out of there. And that's pretty much it for adding user groups. There's other helpful information on our webpage, as far as, simple, step-by-step instructions. This is just kind of an overview to get you familiar with the system. So now what we're going to do is go down to monitoring. Monitoring is a useful tool if, for instance, somebody's fob's not working. You can, kind of troubleshoot it to see if it's not working everywhere, if it's not working, it just one door or, everywhere. So, and you can hit these filters too. So if I want to see who was in the fitness center, I would go to, oh shoot, that comes up as device ID, not device name. So actually we would go to device, not device ID. Sorry about that. So then what you'll do is you'll say, you know what, I want to know who was in the fitness center. We'll add that condition. And now what it's going to do is it's going to filter all of those results given that amount of time. And you can save these filters for quick access later. So you can have a fitness filter, you can have a club filter, however you really want to set that up, that's pretty much up to you. Your real-time log here is, events as they're happening on the property. So if you're seeing, something happening that you want to, you're kind of concerned with, you can kind of monitor what's going on right here. Typically on a valid read, you're going to see, just like here, Juan Mendoza, you're going to see that authentication succeeded. You're going to see that the door unlocked, and then you're going to see that the door locked back up. So really helpful tool just to kind of troubleshoot the system, and gives you a good idea of what's happening at any given time. This here tells you all of the current status of all your doors. So it'll tell you if it's locked, unlocked, if you've scheduled it unlocked, or if you're under normal operation, that kind of thing. So really easy, really good way to monitor the system. So again, all of this information is all of the quick start guides are posted on our webpage. The link to all of these training guides is also on the desktop of your computer. So always double check those first before putting in a service call. Nothing is all that difficult. It's just time and experience. Once you guys get used to it, you'll be good to go. So thank you for your time. Have a good day.